This is a Technics RS-B12 cassette deck from 1984 with the secret thrift store code of being sold as is, aka broken. That's today on Tech Guy Life. So, thrift store pickup, Technics. Is it Technics or Techniques? Techniques, I don't know. Tell me in the comments below. Probably either way. But I'm going to call it the cassette deck. Sold as is, $5 whopping at the thrift store, which of course means not working. So let's find out what isn't working. So I've got it plugged in and turning it on. We get power because the display comes alive. Display looks to be correct. Won't know until we get something in there. But let's see if we eject this or keep it closed. Press play. Nothing. Fast forward. Nope. Rewind. Nothing. So nothing is moving inside of there when you press the important buttons. So I'm hoping it's just a belt. But let's get it open. I did not even get the fix on video because it just happened randomly. So I'd accidentally left it plugged in when I took the lid off, and I simply touched this. And then all of a sudden, it started moving like that. So I think we've got some gummy lubrication on this gear here, but everything else seems to be moving. So the belts seem to be okay. Everything else seems to be okay after that. So there's a belt here, belt there. So there's a big belt on there, a little belt there, and then there's another little belt down here. Although that is very loose. That's pretty soft too. This one's probably just fine and dandy because it's super thick. You can see now that every few times I turn it on, this does not start. So I'm just going to power on. I've got the unit plugged in. I'm just going to power it on. You can see that it doesn't go right now. So that should start going immediately as soon as I power on the unit. And every so often, it just doesn't do it. So if I just touch this, there, it starts going immediately. So I think we need to definitely service these gears and the belts. All right, to service the unit, it looks like I got to snip a few zip ties. So we've got one here, and there's one around the corner here. And that should give us access to this screw. And there is a screw under here, which hopefully will allow the motor to come off. And then we can service the belts. This belt, I am not sure how we're going to get to that one. And I believe that is just the tape counter. All right, let's get these zip ties cut and see if we can get to the screws. Okay, so there was another screw back behind here that I had to, wiggle the screwdriver in order to get access to, but we now have the motor off. So now we can remove this belt and bring this down. So now it's time to go find if I have replacement belts for these. All right, let's give these a clean too. Not bad. A little bit of grime on there. Got a nice piece of gunky lubricant on here, on this wheel here, so I want to try and get that out, because that could be a nice piece that stops things from moving. Okay, I think I found some belts to replace the ones in here, but first up, let's relube this. I think we'll try and get in here and get the lube on this gear itself. And then a little bit in there. Oh, I got some on the actual wheel where the belt goes, so we got to clean that up. And a little excess there too. So that should be good. I'm going to clean up that excess. So we don't want the belt slip sliding. All right, time to see if I can put this back together. It might be a magic shot because I don't know if I can angle this properly where you can see me put the belts on and hold everything. So this belt has to go down here, around that, come over here. Oh, it's falling underneath. Now that we have our belts replaced and everything mechanically is working again, we have to do some more maintenance stuff on the deck itself. So usually what you need to do is, in order to get access to the heads and all the other stuff while the tape deck's running, we want to open up this door, and then the door usually slides off. So we just push up from the bottom and it'll pop off like that. This will give us access to, if we need to, this hole here will let you adjust the head positioning with a screwdriver, but we're hoping we don't have to do that. So it'll give us access to the heads and the pinch rollers so that we can actually give it a good cleaning. So to clean the heads, easiest part, little isopropyl alcohol on a cotton swab and just rub back and forth. Just gently. Don't be scrubbing. And yeah, a little bit came off. And then this is the erase head. So same deal. So this is when you record, this erases the tape first, and then this head also does record, and it puts the new music onto the tape. There's a little bit of stuff on the cotton swab, but not a whole lot. Now, to do the pinch roller, I know you're not supposed to do this with isopropyl alcohol, but I don't have anything else. But you want to clean the silver part off just with the cotton swab. And then what I like to do is you start the playback and then hold the cotton swab just over to this side. If you can see it, there it is. So, and then just gently apply a little bit of pressure and go back and forth across the pinch roller. And that takes off the dirt. Should probably do this with tape head cleaning solution, which is probably just isopropyl alcohol. But I know that isopropyl alcohol potentially dries out the rubber, but I'm not too worried about this one. But there, yeah, look, it's starting to come pretty clean. So the second go around, not a whole lot came off. So I'd say that is a good to go. Okay, last step, putting the door back on. So there on this particular unit, you can see a plastic bar there, which fits in here. So you just put it over top. And then there's these hooks here. These hooks, which you can't see because it's clear. There we go. So these hooks will hook onto some plastic and hold the door on. When you have it off also, that's a good time to give it a good cleaning. And there we go. That is all back together. So now that it's playing, we can put the lid on and see if the speed's okay. Because the motor has a speed adjust on the back. In this particular model, it's on the back of the motor, which is right there, that black dot. You stick a screwdriver in and you can adjust it. Some other players, it will be a potentiometer on the board. Okay, sideways handheld shot through a magnifier. So it's still not totally working every time. So I'm just going to put a drop of oil into the spindle. Hopefully that will lube this up enough, because something was just creating enough tension that it wouldn't start sometimes. And we have the tape deck set up this way on the desk in order to lubricate the motor, and that gives us the advantage of gravity. So gravity will keep the oil from going anywhere, north of the spindle motor. This one, unfortunately, is not going to end well. As Dr. McCoy used to say on Star Trek, it's dead, Jim. Yes, this tape deck is dead. Well, more specifically, it's actually the DC motor that runs the tape mechanism has died. So I was noticing that as it would just sit here, eventually the tape mechanism would just stop working. I'd have to like move this to start it up again, and the motor would kick back in and it would start working, but then it would just randomly stop. And sometimes when I'd turn it on, it would randomly stop. So that pointed me to the DC motor, to the tape motor. Checked all the voltages, everything seemed fine. This isn't a really available replaceable part, which was this whole setup here, which is an MMI6A2LKPA 12 volt DC motor. So I decided to take this apart and see what was inside. And really all it was an actual DC motor and this speed controller board. Saw capacitors on the controller board, on the speed control board, and I thought, well, I'll replace those. Maybe they're bad. Nope, they were fine. Replaced them anyway, and it just still wouldn't work. It just sometimes just wouldn't go. So I got the DC motor out, tried to rebuild it, but what it is for those that don't know how DC motors work, and I am no expert, there are two sets of metal fingers, basically, that touch the center of the shaft here, that provide the two electrical currents, which makes it spin around. Well, those barely have any give. So I think that when the tape motor was in there and it was getting pulled slightly by the tension of the band, it was pulling one of the contacts off. So it would work, but then there'd be a small dead spot potentially somewhere, or it would just get pushed a little bit and it would no longer make contact until I spun it manually, and then it would suddenly make contact again and work. So I rebuilt it and it was working fine until I put it under tension, and then it would fail again. That was unfortunately the point where I have to kind of say this isn't going to work. So I just tried replacing it with another DC motor, and believe it or not, this actually worked to a degree. I put it back in the housing, got it all put in there, because this motor is actually just kind of friction fit in this shell. So I managed to get some stuff in there so it would hold it all together, and put the speed controller on the outside, and I got it to work. But those little motors create a heck of magnetic interference, which you can hear in this clip that I recorded from the playback. Otherwise, it worked fine. Like, that was the right speed, everything was playing fine, but obviously not the right motor for this job. And they're not. It's supposed to be for like little RC cars and stuff. So anyway, that's where I came to this point where I can't really do anything with it right now. So this video, unfortunately, is going to end in a fail. We can't save this unit at this point in time. Maybe I'll make a follow-up video if I get the right motor in, or maybe a short. I've never done a short before, so maybe that'll be my first short. But anyway, that's it for this video. Sorry it was a failure. We'll see you in the next one. Bye. Or meh. Yep, we'll just go with meh.